And here is, so to speak, the favorite topic for the Kiev regime, the so-called children's issue. So you're looking for who is causing Ukrainian children to suffer? From Zelensky, his wife first and foremost, and this entire team at Bankova Street. December 2025 was marked by a grand scandal connected with the removal of Ukrainian children to Turkey. Let me remind you that in the spring of 2022, within the framework of the project of Elena Zelenska and businessman Ruslan Shostak, which was beautifully named Childhood Without War, a group of underage orphans from Dnipropetrovsk was taken to Turkey, allegedly for humanitarian purposes. As later became clear, there they were deprived of adequate supervision, had no opportunity to study, were regularly involved in the filming of propaganda videos, were punished, but how and with what were they punished? By deprivation of food. Physical force was applied to them, they were subjected to humiliation, and they were forbidden to communicate with Turkish psychologists so that the truth would not come out. And what is the truth? Well, for example, 2 female wards became pregnant, and in order to avoid a scandal, they were quietly returned to Ukraine. It was not possible for the Kiev regime to hide these facts or write them off as Kremlin propaganda. The resonance was too great, and the story itself was too dirty. However, there were attempts to hush up what had happened. On January 9th, the commissioner of the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine, Dmytro Lubinets, was forced to give an official comment on this matter, in which monstrous, outrageous facts of violations of the rights of minors and neglect of them by the Kiev regime and of children in general were revealed. It turns out that the Turkish side had informed the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine about improper treatment of the children, but these signals were not properly taken into account. Moreover, representatives of the Ministry of Social Policy of Ukraine in 2023, on the basis of an analysis conducted, gave a positive assessment of the conditions of the children's stay in Turkey. Can you imagine it? Turkey itself was telling the Kiev regime that something was happening to their own children on Turkish territory, and in response it received that everything is fine, when already at the beginning of 2024, information about violations of the rights of minors began to reach the Ukrainian ombudsman directly from the children themselves, as well as from other sources, including the Turkish side. A monitoring group was sent to the place where the children were housed. This group consisted of representatives of the Ukrainian ombudsman, UNICEF, and the Turkish side, and in its report it recorded improper treatment of the children. This report fell into the hands of the media, which made its contents public. And in this context, the silence in the ranks of international specialized structures is telling. Their numbers are endless. Just look at the sheer number of bodies, NGOs, all kinds of committees and commissions, groups and so on, that have proliferated. The International Coalition for the Return of Ukrainian Children is also silent, and this is a topic for it, to talk about, to discuss, to conduct an investigation. All of them, in chorus and individually, make groundless accusations against Russia of the abduction and deportation of Ukrainian children, but shyly keep silent when such outrageous facts of abuse of minors are exposed with the connivance of the Kiev regime and personally Olena Zelenska. You may say that, well, they probably have a different declared agenda for these structures. They deal with children who were taken out of the territory of Ukraine and not with all Ukrainian children. Yes, that's exactly right. The children who were abused were precisely those who were taken out. They were taken out not by Russia, but by the Kiev regime. All of the above once again proves what we have repeatedly said. The Kiev regime and its Western sponsors do not care about Ukrainian children and their rights. The main thing is to smear Russia and not to allow the so-called bright image of a fighter against evil, as Zelensky and company present themselves, to be tarnished, while in fact being this evil in the flesh.